Welcome to the True Crime Never Sleeps podcast. I'm your host, Larry Elise, and on today's episode of Breakout Kings, we're going to dive into El Chapo. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Audible, for sponsoring this episode. What is Audible? Audible is a massive library of audiobooks from every genre. They've got everything from the latest bestsellers to those old classics you've always wanted to read, but just never got around to it. And they've got a huge range of genres: romance, mystery, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever floats your boat. It's super easy to get started with Audible too. All you need is an internet connection, a smartphone, tablet, PC, smart TV. You can listen at home, at work, on the train, during your commute, while walking your dog. You get the picture. It's endless content for endless moments in life. So check out Audible today at audibletrial.com/Larry21. You get a free audiobook at your choice with a free 30-day trial. Without further ado, let's dive right into today's episode. El Chapo. El Chapo is known for being one of the most elusive criminals of all time, having evaded the Mexican authorities for decades, amassing a vast fortune through drug trafficking and violent means. But it's his two dramatic escapes from prison that captured the public's imagination and made him a legend in the criminal underworld. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on El Chapo's prison escapes, examining the incredible lengths he went in order to break out of prison, and exploring the aftermath of these daring acts of defiance. We'll take a deep dive into the details of his first prison escape, his second and most daring escape, and the implications of these escapes on the Mexican government, law enforcement, and the global fight against drug trafficking as a whole. So grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage, turn down the lights, and get ready to delve into the high-stakes world of the most notorious drug lord of all time, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. So, starting off with our escape number one. El Chapo's first prison escape was a shocking feat that made him a household name. It all began in 1993 when Mexican authorities arrested El Chapo on drug trafficking charges. At the time, he was just a small-time drug lord, but he quickly rose through the ranks to become one of the most powerful and feared figures in the drug trade. In 2001, he was finally apprehended again and sent to the Puente Grande prison, where he would await trial. But El Chapo wasn't content to just sit and wait for his fate to be decided by the Mexican authorities. In January of 2001, he managed to escape from the prison in what was widely considered to be a brilliantly executed plan. The details of the escape are still a matter of some speculation, but it's believed that El Chapo's associates bribed guards and officials to help him escape. One of the most popular theories about the escape involves El Chapo being smuggled out of the prison in a laundry cart, although this has never been confirmed. Other theories suggest that he used a tunnel to escape, or that he was simply allowed to just walk right out the front door. Whatever the truth may be, the fact remains that El Chapo managed to escape from a supposedly maximum security prison, which only added to his legend and the mythos surrounding his criminal empire. El Chapo's first prison escape was a turning point in his career, as it demonstrated his remarkable ability to outsmart the authorities and evade punishment. It also revealed the level of corruption that existed within the Mexican government and law enforcement, which played a significant role in his later escape and ultimate capture. El Chapo's escape from Puente Grande would go down in history as one of the most daring and audacious prison breaks of all time, solidifying his reputation as a breakout king, and cementing his status as one of the most powerful and elusive criminals of our time. So now on to escape number 2. El Chapo's second prison escape was an even more audacious and dramatic event than his first. The circumstances leading up to his arrest in 2014 were as follows. After years of being on the run, El Chapo was finally caught in Mexico in February of 2014. He was charged with a litany of crimes, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and murder. El Chapo was taken to the Altiplano prison, which was considered to be one of the most secure prisons in Mexico. But of course, this didn't deter El Chapo from attempting yet another escape. On July 11th, 2015, he managed to escape from the prison using an elaborate tunnel system that had been dug under his cell. The tunnel was over a mile long and featured lighting, ventilation, and even a motorcycle on rails that were used to transport El Chapo through the tunnel. The tunnel led to a building under construction, which served as the exit point. The tunnel was so well constructed that it was undetected by prison authorities, and it was only discovered after El Chapo had already escaped. The escape caused a massive manhunt, and there were several leads that suggested El Chapo had fled to various locations around Mexico. However, he managed to evade capture for over 6 months before being caught again in 2016. Following his capture, the tunnel was discovered and became a source of fascination for people around the world, who marveled at the ingenuity and complexity of the escape plan. El Chapo's second prison escape was a stunning demonstration of his cunning and resourcefulness, as well as the weakness of the Mexican prison system. The escape further solidified his status as a legendary criminal figure, and it was a major embarrassment for the Mexican government, which vowed to keep him behind bars. El Chapo's prison escapes had far-reaching consequences both in Mexico and around the world. The escapes revealed the extent of corruption and weakness in the Mexican government and law enforcement, and they also had implications for the global fight against drug trafficking. The escapes exposed the level of corruption within the government and the prison system, which allowed El Chapo to bribe his way to freedom. The Mexican authorities were widely criticized for their inability to keep him locked up. The escapes damaged their credibility and reputation. Additionally, the escapes prompted a major crackdown on corruption within the government and law enforcement agencies, which continues to this day. El Chapo's prison escapes also attracted global attention and media coverage, which only served to increase his notoriety and make him a larger-than-life figure. His escapes were covered extensively by news outlets around the world, and he became something of a folk hero to some, admired for his daring and resourcefulness. However, the implications of El Chapo's escapes on the ongoing fight against drug trafficking were more serious. The escapes demonstrated the power and influence of drug cartels and the lengths they are willing to go in order to evade capture. The escapes also highlighted the need for better coordination and cooperation between international law enforcement agencies in order to combat the transnational nature of drug trafficking. So in conclusion, El Chapo's prison escapes were historic events that captivated the world's attention and brought to light the extent of corruption and weakness in the Mexican government and law enforcement. These two prison breaks demonstrated the lengths of the powerful and influential drug lords like El Chapo will go to escape punishment, and the level of sophistication of the criminal enterprises that they operate. If you're interested in learning more about El Chapo and the war on drugs, consider checking out several documentaries such as Cartel Land, which examines the vigilante groups and drug cartels operating along the U.S.-Mexico border, Narco Wars, which is a Netflix series, explores the drug trade and its impact on various countries around the world, including Mexico. And there's also the podcast series, The Drug War, that delves into the history and current state of the war on drugs. But that is all we have for this episode of Breakout Kings, a True Crime Never Sleeps series. Thank you for joining us for this episode. We hope that you found this episode informative and engaging, and we look forward to bringing you more true crime stories in the future. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to comment, leave a comment in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like our videos. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And don't forget to use the hashtag TCNS Podcast. As always, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TCNS. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring new hosts, be able to pay them, and hopefully one day take this show on the road. So as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.